Terry Hearty, you're taking a renewed, because you've always been interested in the square in Crossmaglen, a renewed interest, and you've found it to be that bit run down.
Yes, well, it's just we had concerns around the maintenance on the square, the actual the painting of the walls and that, and the trimming of the hedges and the looking after the trees. And there actually has been a number of holes in the tarmac in the square in Cross. And as you know, it's like Cross Square. It's supposed to be the biggest square in the town in Ireland.
Yes.
And people round the square takes great pride in the square, and every event we have is held on the square in Cross. You know. So what I'm at here is at the council to take a better interest in it, to make sure that the walls is painted, that the trees and hedges is properly trimmed in it, and that the holes in the entrance to it is repaired.
Sure, it's
and
a
that
place.
we get the way back a number of years ago, we won the Ulster and Bloom, or come second in the Ulster and Bloom competition and that, you know, and the floral display, and it's very poor. We only have a few hanger baskets going in at the entrance, but
sure,
we
it
need to.
It is able to be the jewel in your crown, because people from all over the world will have heard of Crossmaglen in other times, and they'll want to come and be associated with that history, and also with the pride of the people in their cultural and Celtic past.
There's no doubt about that, Rowan, and like the visitors we have probably 150 vintage tractors coming in from County Louth on Sunday, you know, and they come in, they do a tour. It's a fundraiser for the Youth Club Apa Sheila, and they do a tour of the area, and they come into Crossmaglen Square, and you have 150 people, plus there turns out maybe 150 more or so to see their display when they're on the square, you know, and they all spend money in the town and that. You know, and it's important that they go away with a good impression of the square, that it is, it's as you say, it's the jewel of the crown of any town, and it should be, this time of year, it should look its best.
Absolutely, and you've now, of course, have a wonderful hotel there. We hear about it all the time.
We have the hotel that's sitting very prominent, looking out on the square and that, you know, and it's very important to all of those businesses that the square looks well. And I know that the Carraher family that own the hotel, they have been on the square in Crossmaglen for generations. That they have a butcher shop there in Crossmaglen. Their father had, and their father before them and that, you know, and they have the hotel and that now. But a lot of them is family run, great pride in the area, and certainly great pride in the square.
You see, it's that history, it's that family feeling. My father, my father's father, my father's father's father has been here through the generations. You can't go out into a shop and buy that.
You can't, and as you know, Rowan, the Crossmaglen's a very famous market town for hundreds and hundreds of years. And we have the fair there every fortnight, where people come in from Monaghan and Cavan, Louth, all of those areas. Even people come from County Down and that too. But it's a great buzz in the town. The town is packed on the days that the fair is on. You know, but it has such potential for the town. Any event that takes place, like the fire service does fundraisers there, they'll do a car wash on the square and that, and the buzz and that creates, like the whole Halloween festivals focus around the square. But any event that takes place in the area is the focal point of us.
You see, in my mind's eye, I just have this vision of yellow and red flowers, shimmering walls painted in the latest gloss. I see the square as the hub, and if a fellow wants to go and do some fishing, he can go down there to Cregan, or if he wants to find out about the South Ulster poets, he can go into the churchyard, he can see the grave of the O'Neill. There's so much can reach out from the square.
There's so much there, and whenever anyone does any of those events, whether it's to Sleegullion, whether it's to the graveyard in Cregan, whether it's to fish many of the lakes that we have, they always want to take a run into Cross. Yeah. You know, and the focal point, as I say, is the square, and we have such a a great extension done now in early September. The community centre in Crossmidlen that sits central to the square. We have a fantastic job done on that. We drew down almost £350,000 there of sewer funding, and that was matched by council money. And we have that opening up now in September, and like it'll really add to the square in Crossmidlen.
How much are you going to need?
Union,
sorry, go ahead, Credit Union.
The Credit Union in Crossmidlen is developing a beautiful building just up from the community centre, and they have I've seen their drawings. They are putting up a fantastic building on the square, and it was a derelict site, so it's going to make such a difference to the square. You know, those buildings, the way they've been improved and that. So as I say, it's very important that the council get their act together and start looking after the square in Crossmidlen, as they would do in Warren Point, Kilkeel and all the other areas.
How much money is needed on the table from the council?
It's not that it's going to take an awful lot of money, Rowan. If the council team done a week on it, painted the walls on it, trim the trees properly. There's some of the lights needs to be fixed and some repairs to the road. It wouldn't take an awful lot of money. It would take a bit of time and effort just to do it. And the thing that the real jewel to have there is the community association in Crossmidlen, because they're willing to help the council with any of the projects.
But sure, that's the best possible formula of all. A community helping council.
It's the best formula of all, and with the community association has always worked close with the council and the community centre. And just Rowan, the community association on the Newry Road into Crossmidlen, just before you come to the parochial house or the church there, there's a high embankment on the roadside there. And it has been poorly maintained by road service there over the years. But the Crossmidlen Community Association has threw down now funding, and they intend to clean that whole embankment, drain it, and plant it out in colourful heathers and flowers and that. You know, and it'll make such a difference. There's such community spirit in the area, you know, and there's so many groups that get involved in helping out in this, and I just wish that the council could use it more.
Well, it seems to me, Terry, that they've no choice but to so do, and they will do that. But when I'm thinking of Crossmidlen, I'm thinking of a place slightly apart, a place of difference. The Newry man is not like a Crossmidlen man. The Crossmidlen man is not like a Newry man. What makes a Crossmidlen man?
Well, it's just the area, the great pride that we have in the area. We are rural people. We are a rural town, and I suppose that leads us that wee bit different from the Newry person. And we're actually, we have great pride, as I say, in the area and our culture and heritage and that here, you know. And as I say, we want to make improvements. And we want to work with the statutory bodies in making those improvements.
That sounds good to me. And the next step from your point of view, where do you take it from here?
Oh well, there's no doubt, as I say, I will be putting pressure on the council to make sure that we see the council vans out and cross more work happening in the area.
Sounds good, and we wish you well, Terry Hearty.
Thanks very much for that, Rowan.
God bless you. Go well.
God bless. Appreciate your call. Yeah.
Not at all. All the best.